All right, everybody. I have a complete rock star with me. I've got Angel Hernandez from the Vegas market. What's up, brother?
How you doing, Zach? Everything's going good, man. Thanks for having me.
Good. Good, dude. I am so excited to have you. One of the greatest feelings and the highlight of my day always is when my students are doing deals and they're successful for the first time. So we're going to deep dive your first deal on this call and share what you did and how you did it. And I'm really excited to hear the story because I haven't been able to hear the story yet. So this is going to be fun for me to hear it as well. So I don't know if you can see yourself behind me, Angel. You are right here.
Yeah, I see it.
So I was actually just talking to Tyler, who's right next to you on my wall. He's in the Vegas market too. I was like, dude, did you see Angel just did his first deal? He's like, what? So I'm sure he'll be reaching out to you. So that's fun, man. Hi, my name is Zack Boothe, and I help people just like you consistently find massively discounted properties all across the country so you can fix and flip, buy and hold, or wholesale real estate. If you need help, I have a ton of free resources, including an absolutely free wholesaling course. Click on the link in the show notes to get access to those free resources, or you can go to dfdmastery.com, click on free resources, and get access to all the free content. Well, I'm excited to hear the story. So I went back into our Facebook group and was looking. I saw you made your first comment in that Facebook group. It was April 30th of this year. It's now September 30th.
Yeah.
So it's been a handful of months, and I'm excited to hear what happened in those months to do that first deal and everything that happened. So I want to know more before real estate. So what were you doing before this?
So before real estate, I was actually the general manager of a franchise of gym. I was working there, and everything was going good. And I didn't really know anything about real estate until the pandemic happened. And yeah,
Right.
and then
You're like, now I'm gonna do real estate because my
right,
gym shut down, right?
right. So
Yeah.
the pandemic happened, and I still had a job for a while, and then they had to let everybody go because of the pandemic,
Yep.
and that's basically what happened.
So what a blessing, right? For you.
Absolutely, absolutely, it
Right.
was a blessing.
So many times when crappy things happen, uh, strong people, they rise to the top and like, it's the greatest thing ever. I did an interview with another student yesterday and talked about his success story. And he's making so much money. And 2 years ago to the date, he lost his job as well. And that's what pushed him into real estate. So what a blessing, right? Like, that's
Right,
funny that, yeah.
and
So what happened there?
so the crazy thing is, so I got let go as everybody else did in the company, but shortly after, they reached out to offer my job back because everything was basically going to go back to normal, or at least businesses were going to open up again. So
Mm-hmm.
I decided not to go back to work, because I was taking wholesaling extremely serious.
Good
So
for
I
you,
decided,
man.
yeah, I decided not to go back to work. So
So
that's what happened.
when did you quit or lose your job? When was that?
It was, I would say, um, I'm not sure to be honest, but it was after August, shortly after August. No,
Okay.
before August.
Okay. So this was like a little over, barely over a year ago. You lost your job. You got invited back to work there, and you're like, no, I'm getting into wholesaling. Roughly what time did they offer your job back?
About like 2 months of no of the pandemic going on, two
Yeah.
months, and then they offered my job back.
And you were already so confident, even though you hadn't done a deal, you were so confident you were going to, like, I'm going to make this work. What gave you that confidence, man? Most people would be like, oh shit, I get my job back. Oh, this wholesaling stuff's scary. Like, why are you so different than everybody, man? Tell me what's going on.
To be honest, I've always been a go-getter as far as wanting to make money on my own.
Yeah.
But really, really watching all of the success stories on YouTube, that really was what did it, really. I mean, a lot of people out here, you know, taking action and making money. There was no reason for me to believe that I couldn't do it, you know? So that's why I was pretty confident, because I was seeing a lot of people doing it.
Love it. Now you're that success story, dude. It's almost gonna be that. Be like, man, Angel is just working at a gym and now he just crushing it. So I'm
Right,
sure you're
right.
that success story, which is so cool, man. You're gonna inspire other people. Did you ever reach out to any of those success stories and those successful people and ask them if it was legit or if they got paid to do that? Or because like I
Um,
remember when I saw those success stories, like maybe that guy's full of shit and he got paid to say that, you know? And
right, right. And no, I didn't, just because there were so many and like the validation was already there. I'm sure when you
yeah,
started, there was not a lot of the stuff that's going on now. So
yeah.
to be honest, I didn't. I just really believed everything I saw and all the channels that I was watching it on.
Awesome. Awesome. So you decided to go for it. Why at, at what point in your journey did you go, hey, I should join up with Zack and his tribe and get going with him? Like what made you want to work with me? I know there's a lot of guys out there.
So I was watching Brent Daniels, TTP. I
Yeah.
was watching
Yeah.
his channel.
Love that guy. Love that
Yeah,
guy.
and I saw you on there, and at that point I was kind of deciding what mentor and what course I should buy. And to be honest, man, it was just that interview that you did with Brent Daniels, and you were kind of explaining your method and really the passion that you had for what you were talking about. That's really what did it, because obviously I had already kind of fallen in love with the wholesaling, but then I really liked the way that you were speaking and the way that you were talking about helping people and how you had to give away $1 million to make 1 million. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool, man. I'm glad that you were attracted to me for that, and I'm so glad I could be a small part of your journey. But really, like the hero of this story, like the success, it belongs to you. You did the work. You know, there's a lot of people on my wall here that I'm like constantly like having to, hey, where you at? What are you doing? You know, are you doing this? Oh, I gave up, Zack, because I you know, I'm scared. Blah blah blah. I didn't get him going again, and you know, I know that you didn't have like a perfect easy ride either,
not at
right?
all.
There was some moments. Let's talk about that, because I gave up for a couple years too. I tried and failed and thought it wasn't possible, and then I got back into it. So maybe there's some people that got going, have given up. Maybe we can get them going again and show them it's possible. So talk to me throughout that journey. You got my coaching. It you know, April 30th, 2020, when you made your introduction on the Facebook group, and now it's September 30th. So what happened in all that time?
So I started doing my mailing campaigns after joining your course, and it's really when I started taking action. To be honest, right after I took your course, and I was sending out mailers. I was doing about 500 mailers per week.
Love it.
And I was doing it for about 2 months consistently. Um, and then nothing really came from it. I was getting some calls, but a lot of tire kickers.
Yep.
So then I started calling the list, the people that I was tagging, and I got a lot of traction doing the cold calling. And I started getting
Love it.
leads, started talking to people. And the main thing about it was I was very afraid to make calls. I was very afraid to make calls. I'm pretty introverted, so I don't like talking to people. So that was a challenge itself, just staying on the phone after somebody curses you out and says no. It was kind of discouraging at
Yeah.
first. So I had to stick to it. Um, and then I was moving apartments. So that kind of threw me off a little bit, and I started
Personal life,
slacking.
right? We yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I started slacking after I was doing my move. Um, so then I started watching videos online about other marketing strategies, and I ran into texting. And I figured that texting would work well with my personality, just because I was doing it at the gym. That was my main method of marketing. I always had my employees do text marketing, and that's how we really flourished, and we were able to
That's
excel
cool.
in the gym. So I
Look
liked
at
it,
you,
and I
man. I
tried it.
love it. Love it.
Yeah, and then I tried texting, and that's how I got in contact with the seller.
Well, let's talk about that deal. So you were struggling your way forward, right? You were implementing the steps, and you're like, hey, let's try something that fits my personality. You started texting, which is great. And I talk about texting to my students. It's something I've been using as well. So I teach, texting, postcards, and cold calling. And so, you were producing some leads cold calling, but you didn't like it. Which is
Right,
fine, right? And the cool thing is you can eventually hire people to do all this, right? You can hire people to
right,
call and text and find people that have the personality types for each of these things, which is what I've been able to do. So I don't have to do any of that anymore, right? Which is great. I
right.
don't even go on the appointments now. So you get into texting, you send some text messages, and you get this lead. What's the situation of the seller?
So I sent out my first text, and her initial text back was, "Yes, I want to sell, but I have people in there who haven't been paying rent and they don't want to leave."
You're like,
So,
yes.
right. Well, initially, initially,
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
know what to do. I didn't know how to handle it.
You see,
So,
and if I'd have seen that text message, I'd have been like, money in the bank.
right, right. And
Yeah, yeah.
and I was excited and I knew it was something good. So I responded to her and I
Yeah.
said, "Hey, what if I can buy the property with the squatters in place? Is that something that you would like, and would that be able to help you out?" And she responded like 10 minutes later, and she said, "Absolutely. When can we get on the phone?" So I gave her a call, and she basically told me that the people who were living there were mutual friends. No, they were friends of her brother. So she kind of did them a favor. She wanted a tenant. She hooked them up, but there was no lease in place.
Mm.
So I guess this person started living there a couple months before the pandemic hit. And then when
Yeah.
the pandemic hit, they stopped paying rent, and they weren't paying rent. So the woman owed about 3 months of rent, and she wasn't paying anything. So that was a situation at hand.
Gotcha. So what did you do? How did you negotiate that deal? How'd you deal with the tenant? Like, because you did a traditional wholesale, right?
Yes,
Okay, so
yes.
for people that don't know what that means, what you did is you put the house under contract to buy it. What did you put it under contract for?
So I put it under contract at 65,000.
Did you have $65,000 in your bank account?
Not at all.
No. Okay, so you don't have $65,000 yet. You put it under contract to buy it at 65, right? Well, what happens? What happens if you so what you have is that purchase contract's assignable, so you can find someone else to buy the contract from you and close on the house, right?
Correct.
But what's the situation if you can't find a buyer for it?
Well, I knew I could find a buyer for it just because of I got it under contract at a good deal. But if I couldn't, I'd just use my inspection contingency, and then just probably just leave the contract, because I put a 25-day inspection contingency on it
Gotcha.
because I knew the
So you have
squatters were in
25
place.
days to find a buyer. If you can't, you back out. No skin off your back, right? So it's
Right.
literally zero risk. Took no money to do the deal other than your marketing, of course. Right. So you get this deal under contract for $65,000. And what is this house worth completely fixed up?
So it was the ARV was about 120,
Okay.
120,000.
So you just got that property literally 50 cents on the dollar. How did you do
Right.
that? What did you say to the seller? How did that appointment go?
So I was talking to the seller about the property, because obviously I couldn't see it um, because of the squatters, and I was texting the squatters as well, and they weren't cooperating. So
Yeah.
I was
They're
kind
like, I
right. So
like this. It's free rent. I don't want to move out.
right,
Freaking
right,
pieces of crap. Oh,
right. So I was getting as much information as I could from the seller, and she was being really honest. She was saying that the property needed, probably, she said 20 to 25,000 worth of repairs, and it's a townhouse. So I knew that it couldn't be that much. So I was calculating,
maybe it was that much. If well, you have connections, right? You know, investors that have connections. So you know, a lot of times investors get better pricing than like a homeowner just hiring a contractor. So for her, she was probably being like 25, but if she got bids, it would be more like 35. So there is some benefits, you know, with your connections. So she's saying
right.
25. What are you thinking rehab costs are for your flippers?
Um, to be honest, when she was saying 25,
Yeah.
I was thinking it was going to be more like 15, 20, because it was a small townhouse. It was about 800 square feet, two
Oh
bedrooms,
yeah.
one bathroom, two
Yeah.
bedrooms, one
Tiny.
bathroom. Right. So she was explaining the condition. She said that it's not in terrible condition. It's just, not taken care of. Um, so what I had to do was kind of get in there and see what the condition was. And after trying uh, to see it with the squatters, they weren't cooperating. So I just thought to myself, maybe I could sell this to an investors with the squatters in place, because I dropped a comment on the DFD, and a lot of people were helping me. So this
Yeah.
is key. This is very key, because without the help from the students in the course, I wouldn't have known what to do.
That's why we have the
So
tribe, baby. Love it.
right. So the
So
tribe was they were
I want a commitment from you though that you're going to stay active now that you know what you're doing. You have all this experience and you're going to continue to learn. I want you to help other people in there as well, right? I want you to take and bless other people's lives, and I promise you that will bring you more than you give. Right? You're going to have people that'll come to you in your own market asking questions, and then they're going to bring you deals because they don't know what to do with them. Like it'll come back in return, but we continue to bless. Like just how my other students have served you and answers questions, or I've served you and answered questions to help you through this process. Continue to bless others, right? And I'm sure
right.
others watching this are going to reach out and have questions for you, and like, you know, maybe someone like looking to be a part of my mastery program is going to call you and ask you about it. Like serve and be honest and helpful to those people. And if you ask them questions and you see that they're not a fit for the mastery program, you know, just say, hey, look, Zack might not be a fit for you, but I've heard maybe this is the fit. Like truly like help those people. Right. I just want that to be
Absolutely.
clear. Like continue to give back. That's why I do this. Right. I'm trying to create momentum of, you know, create a movement of helping other people and creating financial freedom. Like there's freaking plenty of deals to go around. There's plenty of money to go around. If I didn't believe that to my core, I wouldn't be teaching this. You know what I mean?
Right, right, absolutely, and I completely agree. I see the value that the course members had, because when I dropped the comment, they were telling me they said if it's a good deal, somebody will absolutely buy it with the squatters in place.
Yep.
So that's what I did. I marketed it to my buyers with the squatters in place. So um, a buyer said, I can't buy it because I was marketing it at 80,000. And he said, I can't buy it at 80, but I could do around 75. And a few people kind of said that. A few people went lower, like 70, 72, and then a few people said 75.
Beautiful.
But this
So you have
this is
multiple offers. So you know you're like in that range, right? So
right, but
how did you find those cash buyers? I know I teach you guys to get cash buyers first. What are some of the things you did to have those people already ready to go when you found a deal?
so I used the first thing I did was the Facebook groups,
Cool.
um, and then I also did a prop stream. Kind of just picked out the cash buyers in the area and skip traced them, called them, asked them if they were interested in new deals. Whenever I had them available, and some said yes. So I grabbed those. But that's how I got
Beautiful.
my cash buyers.
Good for you, man. Okay, so you send it out, you get multiple offers, even with squatters in place. So is this a sight unseen? Were they even going to be able to go inspect it, or is it by pictures only, or what, or just completely sight unseen?
So it wasn't sight unseen. So out of all the investors that reached out to me, one of them really he was really helpful, and he told me, "Hey, I'll buy it at 75, um, and I'll help you get the squatters out of there." So I kind of worked with him. I started talking more to the squatter. Things kind of started progressing. The
Hmm.
squatter allowed me to get into the property. We got in
Beautiful.
there,
Well done.
and
Well done on that. That's
yeah,
awesome.
and
So you got in there, and then what happened?
when I talked to the squatter, I talked to her like she was a human being, like the guy said in the group
Yep.
in the chat. I talked to her. I said, there's no lease, so you absolutely have to be out. And I don't want to kick you out. I want to give you some time because I know you have kids. I could even give you some funds to allow you uh,
Beautiful.
to have some money and get started in your new step or whatever. And she agreed. She was panicking so much, but
Yeah.
I had to talk to the squatter every single day, just like I had to talk to the seller every single day.
Yep.
Because the
But that's
squatter
why you
was
got paid, right? You're solving problems. You're solving problems for the seller. You're solving problems for the squatter. Solving problems for the cash buyer, right? You're this gym manager that turned like problem solver, right?
right, right. So I was talking to the squatter and the seller every single day because the squatter didn't know how to get out. She was lazy and she didn't know how to get out. So I
Yeah.
kind of had to give her steps, find some places for her to reach out to, and we got it done in time. And we exchanged cash for keys, and then the investor closed on it.
Love it. Love it. Was there eviction problems? You couldn't evict her this time because of COVID, right? And so you had to do cash for keys, or is that you just decided to go cash for keys versus eviction?
So the investor, he said that he absolutely could have got her out of there quickly just because there was no lease.
Mm,
Um, so that's what he said. But he didn't want to do that either. He understood that she was a human and had kids.
that's
And this is
beautiful.
why,
Love it.
right, and that's why I
That's
decided
so
to work with
awesome.
him.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
And that's why I decided to work with him because he kind of understood and we were on the same page. And, we decided to talk to her and give her about 20 days and, everything went well.
So not only you make a ton of money, you did it with a big heart, right? You could have just convicted her and kicked her out, but you saw that she was a person in need, and I was kind of mean and called her a piece of crap. What a jerk I am, huh? But maybe she was down on her luck, and I feel bad about saying what I said now. And that's so cool. I have a lot of respect for you. You went at this with a mindset of how can I help, how can I bless, how can I do something good for my community and still provide value enough that I can get paid. So you found this cash buyer that had the same mindset, the same good charity, thought processes on how to make this deal work, get you paid, and he will able to go in and make money. So I assume he's going to make 10, 15, 20 grand on the flip too, right?
Well, yeah, he's gonna make more than what I calculated because when we went to look at the place, he said he was only gonna spend like 9-10 grand on the rehab.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So he's going to
so
do good.
so I also learned from experience because next time I'll kind of recollect myself and get the squatters out of there myself first
And then have
before.
all of your cash buyers go in and see it and make even. So you might have left 10 grand on the table on that deal.
Right. It was like, yeah, I might have left 5 or 10 grand for sure.
Yeah. So how much exactly did you get paid for that purchase contract?
Uh, how much was my assignment?
Yeah.
My assignment was 10,000.
So you walked away with $10,000 in your pocket.
Yes,
Was that the easiest $10,000 you've ever made?
it was. It was. I worked for it, but it was though. It
Yeah,
was
of
the
course
best
you worked
feeling
for
of
it.
it.
There's no such thing as free money, right?
Absolutely.
So tell me what that deal means to you.
It means a lot, man. It means more than I could even explain because um, I don't come from like I had to change my whole mentality to be able to do this wholesaling. I'm from New York City, man, and I didn't grow up around the best influences. I grew up in the inner city of New York. Uh, so I never thought this could be possible until I started doing it. And at one point, man, I didn't think it was gonna happen. Just because of everything, I couldn't shake my mentality.
Yeah.
Um, and Vegas is just a very tough market. So it seemed like everybody that I was calling was already being called. Everybody that I was reaching out was already tired of being reached out to. But I stuck with it, and I realized that every no that I got was just making me closer to that yes.
Well, I'm so very proud of you, and like what you shared is so It's why I do what I do, you know, because if like, for example, I could give someone $10,000, right? But let's say I walked up to Angel Hernandez and I'm like, hey brother, here's 10 grand because I feel like you need it, or I feel like you deserve it. Would that mean the same amount as you going out and earning it and understanding how to make that much money in a couple days?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You can't take away from the experience. The experience is always
No.
there. So absolutely not.
And plus now you have a skill set. Dude, you could be in the shittiest financial position ever, but you have that skill set. You know, you have proof of concept. I can go do that over and over and over, right? My very first wholesale deal was $10,000 flat too. Same thing, right? I didn't think it would be done. I was a window cleaner and I did that $10,000 and I was holding that check up. I was like, dude, I freaking did it. And it's $10,000. Sure. Okay. There's, people do bigger deals, but it was like, I did it, like it
Right.
can be done. This stuff is real. And every market's competitive. Every market has investors. Every market has people hunting for discounted off market properties like this,
Right.
and, now I do deals all the time up to like 80 grand. I've done 6-figure deals. My average deal's 30 grand and we're doing 5, 6, 7 of them every single month. And we're in 2 different states. And like, that was only a handful of years ago that I did my first deal. And so you need to realize like the sky's the limits, dude. And,
Right.
and the coolest thing ever is now you have a tool to take care of yourself and, the people that you care about and the people that are important to you in your life and your people, like, you can be that person for them to help and support them, but also to be that person that can inspire them, right? That
Right.
person that they go, hey, wow, like Angel did it. Like, why can't I do it? Right? You can inspire those people around you. And the more you continue to push, the better off you'll be. I want to encourage you too, to not just focus on the money side and look at just the money side. But now that you have money, you now have the time and the resources to really invest in yourself and to do self-improvement and do self-improvement books and read books and spend that time, making yourself the best person you can be, because that's what we need right now. That's what our country needs, like screw
Right.
politicians. We need to make ourselves better. Right.
Right.
And I just think it's super awesome that you've had this success. And I'm just so very grateful I could play just a very small part in it. So much respect for what you've done, man.
And I mean, man, give yourself more credit, man, and everybody in the DFD group course too. It was more than just a small impact that you guys had on me. Um, it was a tremendous impact, man. Like I started getting closer to God. I started tithing. My girlfriend and her parents, they have a church. I started going on Sundays faithfully. Started tithing for the first time in my life consistently. And I did that, obviously because they have guided me, but because I always saw it on the DFD group as well. Everybody was talking about tithing. You would talk about tithing. You would talk about, your spirituality being in the right place for you to be able to go out there with a clear mind and help people. Because after I got this deal, I looked back at some of the leads that I had and I was like, wow, like I quit way too early on this lead, on this lead, on this lead, so.
The funny thing is you're gonna have more and more experiences, and you're gonna do more and more deals, and that more experience you have, the more you realize all the mistakes you were making, right? But you won't ever learn unless you're working, right? So many people want to know everything before they start, and you'll never know everything unless you start, right? It's kind of this weird paradigm where you have to fail. Like it is a requirement to success in life. It's like, I mean, you're a gym guy, you look fit. Do you get fit by sitting around eating potato chips and feeling comfortable all the time? You got to
Absolutely
be in
not.
pain. You have to be in
Right.
pain. Pain equals growth, right? And you have to get out of your comfort zone. And of course, you can find success faster if you have guidance and help and a tribe. And that's what the whole purpose of what I do is, right? To be that extra support, to be that personal trainer kind of thing, But even with a trainer, even with a coach, if you are not getting out of your comfort zone, it's not going to happen. It's not.
Right. And I learned that the hard way for sure. So
Love it. So I want to ask you one last question. Now with your experience, with your wisdom of doing your first deal, what sage advice would you give to yourself when you first started hearing about wholesaling? What would you say to yourself?
Um, I would say to myself, not to give up and to use the funds that I have for marketing correctly, um, and track my numbers, because you kind of uh, you stress, the KPIs and all that stuff. And at first, I wasn't really tracking any of that, so I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was just reaching out to people, buying numbers, all types of stuff. And then when I kind of got a grip of myself and started, following everything and keeping track, that's when really I started seeing better results, um, as far as, more leads and knowing what I had to spend to get the leads that I was getting.
Love it. Love it. Well, awesome. If you guys don't know what KPIs are, that's key performance indicators. So that's like keeping track of how much you're spending on postcards and how many leads it produces and how many appointments and contracts. And it's just how much are you spending and how much are you making, and knowing exactly what fruits you're getting from your efforts. And so he would have done better at tracking that, and following the steps that I gave him to do that. So that's awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here. If someone wanted to reach out and ask you any questions, would that be okay?
Absolutely, man. They can reach out on my Facebook, just drop a message and I'll respond.
Okay, and it's just Angel Hernandez, right?
Yes, Angel Hernandez Jr.
Okay, perfect. So you can find him there on Facebook Messenger, just right. That's cool.
Yep.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. As soon as we get off this call, I'm going to take you off this wall and put you on the Succes wall. I'm very excited to do that. If you're ever in Utah, please swing by and say hi to me, and you can see your picture on the wall.
I will, man. Thank you. I appreciate everything, Zach, so much.
For sure. I mean, you're not far. I drive to Vegas every once in a while. If you ever come up this way, seriously, stop by. I'd love to see you. I'd love to buy you lunch.
Likewise, man. If you're in town, let me know. I'd love to meet you in person.
Cool, man. That'd be freaking fun. And I'm sure I will. I like Vegas. I like going down there when it's freaking miserably cold here, and it's a lot warmer down there. So maybe next early spring, maybe March, I'll swing down there.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Cool, brother. All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much for participating and being a part of this. If you want to become a member of the Driving for Dollars Mastery program, there is a limited amount of space. I do not take everybody. You have to apply, and that is because you get put on my wall and I know who you are, and it requires a lot of time and energy. So Angel Hernandez got in before then. He got lucky, but now you have to apply to be a part of that. So you have to go to my website and book a call and apply and see if we're a fit. So you can go to dfdmastery.com to be a part of that. You get full access to our courses and to the Facebook group and to me, to our support calls, all those things. So go ahead and apply and book a call if you're interested. Angel, thank you so much, and we'll talk soon, my friend.
Thank you, Zach. Appreciate it, man. Have a good day.
Yeah. All right. You as well.